All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Next Level Lifestyles, where I connect you with various locations, realtors, and lifestyles worldwide. So today I'm so excited. I have my business partner, Juan Carlos Baraneche, who is the founder and president of the Gold Bar Real Estate Team. Welcome, Juan.
Hey, Alexa, how are you?
I'm great. Now that I'm hanging out with you, how are you today?
You said my last name correctly. I'm proud of you.
Oh my gosh, listen, it's amazing what can happen when you have the name spelled correctly. It's incredible.
There you go.
Rolls right off the tongue. So to everyone that's listening, this is gonna be such a treat, you guys. Juan has so much experience. So from a very young age, Juan Carlos knew he wanted to help people on a major level, which propelled him to a career in real estate, which is why we're connected. Recent publications, including New York Weekly, Fox News, CBS, NBC, and Yahoo Finance have featured Juan as a rising star in real estate. At just 28 years old, which we both just had a birthday in the month of July, he is one of the most successful leaders in the industry, leading a team of top-ranked agents throughout New York and Florida. And in just 3 years, Juan Carlos has recruited more than 800 agents to his brokerage. Drop the mic. Host of the Luxury Agent Podcast, he is known for being connected and interviewing the most successful real estate agents in the country. So Juan is born and raised in Queens, New York, understands the 5 boroughs like a true native, which I cannot wait to get into. And in 2015, Juan Carlos graduated from Stony Brook University and immediately started working in Midtown Manhattan. Later on, he decided to move to East Hampton before finally deciding to make Long Island City, Queens, which by the way is so gorgeous. Check out his Instagram stories, his permanent residence. Juan Carlos is truly unique in the sense that he understands and has sold real estate in every part of the market between New York City and the Hamptons. His team in Central and South Florida is rapidly expanding as well as he bridges the gap for New Yorkers looking to migrate to the Sunshine State, which we all know everyone's doing that right now. So with more than $100 million in sales and one of the biggest networks in real estate, Juan has proven that by combining relentless work ethic with technology, you can accelerate results to your clients.
So to take it back from day one, essentially I graduated high school and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I thought to myself, you know what, my mother's a doctor, I might as well go do what she does. And I do want to help people and they make a lot of money. So I thought that was the path for me. So I went out to Stony Brook University. I started majoring in biology. I was pre-med and I was very ambitious at the time. I wanted to be a surgeon. And I knew that if I could graduate, go to medical school, do my residency, get my specialty and complete on so on and so forth, one day I could be a surgeon making lots of money, helping tons of people and living a successful life. Now, right around my junior year, it kind of starts to hit me and I realized, wow, I have 14 years left of this thing. And I'm studying for an organic chemistry test at the time. And I'm thinking to myself, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And it was at that moment that I, for the first time in my life, had an epiphany. And that epiphany was, where do I want to be 5, 10, 15 years from now? And I never really thought about it until that point. And that's when I started kind of discovering who I am, what I enjoy, and really what my purpose is. And I wrote down the 2 things that I wanted to accomplish at the time. And number 1, I wanted to help people. That was really important to me regardless of what I did. And number 2, I wanted to be financially free.
So like any agent that's out there, right? Because there's a lot of agents that kind of tune in, and what would you tell them if they're in similar shoes where they had a path that they had chosen and maybe now they have like some interest in real estate? Like, what advice do you have for them?
So the number 1 advice I would give to them is find out what your end goal is. Start with the end in mind. If you don't know what your destination is, how do you plan on getting in the car and driving there? And that's really what a lot of people do with their life. They just get into a career or an industry and just try to figure it out along the way. But that's a ridiculous plan because you're going to be running around in circles for 2 or 3 years and then you don't know where you want to go anyway. So you're not going to really get too far. So what I did from day one, literally May of 2016, I could go out there and pull out my goal sheet. And I literally mapped out how much money I want to make by the time I'm 30, 40, and 50. And I took the amount of money that I'd have to make, I divided it by the amount of houses that I have to sell, I divided it by the amount of agents I would have to have, and I divided by the amount of investment properties I would own. And I reverse engineered the entire thing so that by the time it came down to a yearly plan, I could break it down into months, weeks, and even days. And literally for the last 3, 4, 5 years, I've just been doing the one thing that I need to do every single day in order to hit my 10-year goals. And when you start mapping it out that way, a dream all of a sudden becomes a possibility. And a possibility all of a sudden becomes a routine. And really, that's all you need to do. You have to understand where you want to get to, reverse engineer it down to the one task that you need to be doing every single day. And then you need to get into the routine of doing the work, because that's really all there is to it. It's a ton of hard ass work over a consistent period of time and just being patient.
Like setting the goal and the intention, but then kind of being open and flexible to how you get there, right? Like being very specific on this is what I want. But when you said passive income, I'm sure when you wrote that goal, perhaps it was more like in the income of properties, right? And rental income. And now, is it a little bit different now based on where you are?
Absolutely. So you know the crazy part? I had no idea how the hell I would get there. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do at a certain age. And then when this opportunity came along 3 years ago, I was like, wow, you know what? This is the vehicle. I always thought investment property is going to be that vehicle for me. But in reality, this opportunity came along, and when you know the goal in mind, the only thing you're looking for is a faster car to get there. Right. So I was going to get there in a Honda Accord, and then this Ferrari came by and said, well, I want to hop in that. Let me see how I could use that in. So absolutely. I think it's a part of a manifestation theory where if you just speak it into existence, the opportunities will come to you. And that's literally what happens.
I love it. And it's like the opportunities do come to us, just like how you and I are connected. It's like you follow your gut feeling, you follow your instincts, and you have to be thinking high enough level, not so stuck in the minutia and the daily bullshit. Honestly, like the daily stuff that can bring us down, right? Like you have to be open enough to be able to see that the door is open right here. And it's one thing to be looking at house hunters just to see a few properties, but it's another to really understand the true lifestyle of the location. And from the people that you've seen that have reload from New York to Florida, you know, what's the feedback? Like, are they upset with the move? Are they like, oh my God, I miss New York? Or are they just pleasantly surprised? Like, can you speak to that a little bit?
It really depends on what your expectations are, because if you're like my parents love the busy lifestyle here in New York. And if they were to relocate down to Florida, well, they would be disappointed in the sense that things are a lot slower down there. Everyone's in retirement mode. Everyone's laid back. Everyone's going to the beach every day. No one's really waking up at 5 a.m. and going crazy and trying to get to the next, the next meeting and stuff like that. So I feel that New York has this hustle and bustle vibe where everyone's always in a rush and everyone's always in work mode. And Florida, on my end, it's kind of like the opposite polarity. It's a lot more laid back. It's a lot more vacation mode. It's a lot more retirement mode. And there's pros and cons to both. So I think depending on the person's personality, they may go down there and they may love it. If they've been working 30, 40 years here in New York and the only thing they're thinking about is golfing, going to the beach and joining a retirement club, well, then Florida's the perfect fit for them. But if they still want a little bit of the hustle and bustle and they want that city vibes, then Miami may be the perfect fit. So Florida has a lot of options because you could go down to the South Coast near Miami. It's still going to be very busy. Or if you want to go up to Palm Beach or Boca Raton, it's going to be a little bit more quiet, a little bit more laid back, but still the same weather, still the same benefit. So I think it depends on people understanding what they want. This all goes back to starting with the end in mind. And then from there, we could always work back in reverse and find the perfect location that would suit their needs.
Like, what kind of movement are we seeing since COVID hit? Because I feel like a lot of people's needs are kind of shifting. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So I'll give you an example. When I moved into my apartment, which was December of 2020, it's about 6, 7, 8 months ago, I was able to negotiate a hell of a deal because at the time there was a lot of luxury rental developments just giving out all of these prorated rents, discounts, bonuses, things like that. Since then, those 2 months bonuses of free rent has gone down to a $1,000 signing bonus. So what that tells me on a local market here in New York City is that people are moving back. Why? Because when management companies and the people doing the rentals are dropping their incentives for you to move in, it means they have a lot of supply and demand of people coming in and wanting to rent their property. So I'd probably say that over the last 4 or 5 months, it's been heating up where all the people that left New York City to go out to the Hamptons or even Long Island, it's been slowing down on that side where they want to move back into the city. People just can't get away from the lifestyle here. It's something where New York City is one of the most unique cities on the planet. We are the finance capital of the world. We are the entertainment capital of the world. There is so much going on over here that for you to go out there and really live in Long Island or even the country, it's a completely different lifestyle that may get boring. So I think New York City is back. It's stronger than ever. We're seeing things fly off the market, but Long Island is still hot as well. I'm seeing a lot of millennial couples who are getting recently married, or maybe they're starting to have a family, They're moving out there because the houses are very affordable. And one of the hottest markets in the country, in my opinion, is Suffolk County.
So now let's talk a little bit more about like the pricing and like the market as far as like, listen, where I live, things have gone up tremendously. We finally had the correction in our pricing. We were the last state to recover, believe it or not, in Connecticut since the housing market crash, right? From when the bubble prices were, we finally just hit those not too long ago. But as far as in like, let's say Manhattan, for example, are things, I know for a while it was like a little sketchy, everyone's kind of leaving. Have things leveled up off there, or is there still a lot more migration outwards?
I still think there's still a big amount of the population in New York City that's still migrating to Florida. However, it's not nearly as much as it was during the pandemic when everyone wanted to kind of scatter. So we're starting to see a big price recovery. Days on market is dropping based on what it was for during the pandemic when everyone was leaving, and contracts are up with prices going up relatively. So we've been seeing a cooling off, in my opinion, of the Long Island market. It's still on fire. It's just not scorching hot. And I would probably say the reason for that is because there was just so much competition between buyers that people kind of gave up. You would go into a house in Long Island and it's priced correctly, and you're competing with probably 40, 50, 60 buyers on that one property. And it was a game of roulette just to kind of get an accepted offer. So I think a lot of people got unmotivated. The interest rates shot up a couple of weeks ago, and now they're back down. But everything's kind of like a factor in terms of when the right timing is to buy a house, I guess. But listen, at the end of the day, if you're working with the right agent, they understand the market, they know how to navigate it, you could always get a good deal. So always find the professional to work with first, and then from there, they can help you navigate the entire process, no part of the process. So I think it's important for the consumer to go out there and really interview 2 or 3 agents before they make a decision to really go out there and purchase or sell a house with them. And if you interview teams specifically, ask the teams, what additional services do you provide aside from just going out there and marketing the house? So I think the way me and you designed our businesses is really consumer facing and leading with value. And I think it's the future of real estate, in all honesty.
I really do too. It's kind of like we're always at the center of it all. As far as anytime our clients need anything, we have all the contacts, right? Like we're here to make it as seamless as possible for them. And now I do have to switch gears and talk about your team, because I think it would be a disservice for any of the agents listening to not hear about your phenomenal team structure. Anyone that's listening, if anyone's considering to form a team, Juan is one of the most strategic, effective, and efficient people I've met within the industry. And he does consulting for agents that are looking to perhaps, okay, what are my goals, right? Having the end in mind, right? So if you can maybe share with us a little bit about the consulting you do with other agents in that regard, and how you found was the most successful way to set up your team.
1000%. So I would consider myself what I like to call a scaling expert, right?
You really are.
I've gone through every single failure and challenge you could go through when it comes to starting, building, and automating a team. And because I've gone through that experience, I have a lot of wisdom that I could shed light on when it comes to agents who want to grow from being an individual agent to starting a team to building a brokerage. So it all starts off with understanding, once again, where do you want to be when it comes to your end goal? Do you want to be selling more real estate? Do you want to be a listing agent that is handing off the referrals to your buyer agents? Do you want to be managing multiple buyer agents and listing agents on a team? Or do you want to run it more like I do, with really your team and the branding ahead of you, and you completely removed from the equation?
And with that, Juan, where can everyone find you? How can they connect with you?
So I would say the fastest and easiest way is going to be on Instagram. My handle is Juan, Juan, Gold Bar. And then if you want to follow our professional page, it's at Gold Bar. Other than that, you can reach out to me via email at Juan, Juan, at goldbarteam.com. And I answer all of my emails, all of my messages. If you're an agent, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to collaborate and help you scale your business for free. And if you're a consumer that you're looking to move out of New York or maybe move into New York, feel free to give me a call. I'm always happy to help.
Love it. With that, Juan, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure.
Anytime, Alexa. Thank you so much for having me, and let's continue doing incredible things together.
I love it.